Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of Logan. I'm wearing pajama pants right now. Snicked. So Logan is directed by James Mangold, who also did the previous Logan flick, The Wolverine. I didn't see The Wolverine because I saw X-Men Origins Wolverine. The premise of this movie is it takes place in 2029. Pretty much there are no more mutants. The world is devoid of mutants. All you've got left, as far as we're aware, are Logan, Professor X, and Caliban, who is in X-Men Apocalypse, which sucked, but it was played by a different actor in that flick. They're all holed up in the Mexican desert, hiding out, and Logan is taking care of Professor X. It's a very father-son kind of dynamic in this flick. Now, Professor X is very sick. He's got some kind of degenerative brain disease, which is crazy because his power is his brain. So they're hiding out in the desert, but Professor X has been linking telepathically with some young girl who seems to be a mutant. Eventually she shows up. There are threats against her, of course, and Logan and Professor X and Caliban have to take her, get her out of town, get her to a safe haven. That's your basic premise. I'm not going to give anything else away. I should also point out that at this point in the film, Logan's healing factor is not really working anymore, and he's become a hardcore alcoholic. Yeah. What I loved about Logan, and there's a lot to love about Logan, but one of the things I really loved about it, it's not a superhero movie. It really, really isn't. There are superhero characters in it, but it doesn't feel like a superhero movie. It doesn't feel like an X-Men flick, or an Avengers flick, or Batman vs. Superman. It's not super flashy. It's a very contained story. It's a very human story. The film deals with themes of loss, guilt, and family. It's very much about these characters, Logan, Professor X, having to come to grips with all of the things that they've done in the past. Now, granted, they were always trying to help the situation, but they've done some pretty horrible things, and the emotional baggage that goes along with all of that. Now, this is a smaller flick, particularly for a superhero movie. To give you some kind of example, Logan was made at a $97 million production budget, which is nothing to shake a stick at. But just for contrast, X-Men Apocalypse, a far inferior film, was made for $178 million production. This movie is a much smaller film, and because they decided they were going to go rated R, which there is a trend these days that it worked for Deadpool, and Deadpool was amazing, therefore let's make everything rated R. Was the Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Cut really rated R? Was that necessary? I don't think so. In this movie, it makes sense, though. Wolverine is a really, really violent guy, and this movie, don't kid yourself, it's ridiculously, almost gratuitously violent, and I loved every second of the violence. It earns its R rating, and because it was made on a smaller budget, because Fox learned their lesson with Deadpool, it really seems like they kept their hands out of this production. They didn't push ideas on the filmmakers. They let them go and make the movie they wanted to make. And that is huge, and it absolutely pays off in Logan. The acting in this film is so impressive. Hugh Jackman has always been great as Wolverine. Sir Patrick Stewart has always been great as Professor X. Make no mistake, out of all of the movies they've done as those characters, their performances in this film destroy all the others. Because it's so human, because it's taken so seriously, it's not a goofy flick at all. Some of the X-Men movies get pretty goofy. This is a very, very serious film. Not that there is not any levity, there is, and Patrick Stewart is fucking hilarious in this movie. But they take their performances very seriously, the story treats their characters very seriously, and their performances are absolutely stunning. Then we get to Laura, the little girl, played by Daphne Keane. This kid, I don't know how old she is, I'm guessing she's probably about 11. She kills it. She is unreal. And she doesn't say much throughout the whole movie. She's doing all of her acting with her face, with her eyes, with her battle screams. She's amazing. And I can't wait to see more from this actress. Daphne Keane, well done. The last thing I want to bring up is, unlike a lot of superhero movies, this film is filled with CGI. I'm sorry, is that confusing? I'm not talking about computer-generated imagery. Of course, there is computer-generated imagery in this movie. No, I'm talking about character growth integration, an acronym I made up. Logan, while all superhero movies do show an emotional arc, most superhero movies show an emotional arc, in this film, the character growth is huge, it's believable, it's emotional, and make no mistake, this is a very emotional movie in some ways. As far as we know, this is Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman saying goodbye to this franchise. Unless something changes, that is the plan. And it's an absolutely perfect send-off for both of these characters. The emotion, the character growth, it's all there, and it's very, very well done. So finally, I guess you can tell I loved this movie. I think amongst superhero movies, it's right up at the top. It suffers a little bit by the fact that it doesn't have Batman in it. This is my own personal thing. I love Batman. But I would put this up there with The Dark Knight. It is a brilliant film. It's not fluff. It's not just a popcorn movie. There's so much more to it. There's so much subtext, and it's a great film. So I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet. So what am I gonna give Logan? I'm gonna give Logan 9 snicks out of 10 bubs. I think that works. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Check back, I'm gonna keep making more. I do need to get Lego Batman done. I know I'm way late on that. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Give me a subscribe if you really enjoyed it. I'd love it if you'd share. But have you seen Logan? What did you think? Did it make you cry? What about that last shot? Oh my God, that last shot was incredible. Hit the comments below. Let me know. Let's get a discussion going. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.